Next up, many of you are going to know our wonderful Goldster nutritionist, Claudia le Feuvre. Now, she has 16 clinical years experience helping clients with a wide range of health concerns. Claudia lectures at the British College of Nutrition and Health and the Nutritional Healing Foundation. She joined the Goldster team 2 years ago and runs classes every Wednesday and Friday. She's an experienced public speaker, as you'll probably have gathered, and she's passionate about making nutrition fun, inspiring, and practical. And she's helped hundreds of people boost their nutrition and transform their health. Claudia, are you there?
Hi, Lee. How are you?
There she is, like magic. She just appeared on screen.
Hi, everyone. What an amazing masterclass so far. Incredible. Thank you so much for putting this together. It's really inspiring.
It's a pleasure. I mean, it's always a delight that everyone wants to come and join and share their knowledge. And it's just fantastic. And so many of you show up to spend the afternoon with us. And this week, Claudia, it's amazing because we've got so many special offers that are in the chat. And I know you have one for a stay, which you'll tell everyone about later. But today you're going to be doing a deep dive, because I know in the last session we did around beauty, we did a little bit about collagen, but you're going to do a deep dive into collagen.
A little bit of a deep dive into collagen, but also what I've been listening in avidly today, and what I thought I'd do as well is offer nutritional approaches to some of the questions that people asked about.
Yes,
like for example, skin tags and hyaluronic acid and eczema, rosacea. I thought we could talk a little bit about that.
Fabulous.
If that's okay. And so feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and I'll try and get to them as well.
Wonderful. Well, enjoy the session, everybody, and I will join you later. All right, take care.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So hi, everyone. And one of the things that I love about working with the skin from a nutritional point of view, I find the skin fascinating because it's the only organ that is directly connected to both our internal and our external environments. And obviously, from a nutritional point of view, we're looking at skin from the inside out and what we can be doing, any changes we can make in our diets to really help manage different skin conditions. So I thought I could start off by talking generally about as we get older, as we get into our 50s and we hit the menopause and our estrogen levels fall off that cliff. And of course, so too is Dr. Catherine was explaining about how the collagen, it can be so deeply affected by that drop and loss in the estrogen. And I also found it so interesting how she was explaining about the hyaluronic acid is connected to that as well. Now, hyaluronic acid is also, as well as being very involved in the skin, is actually crucial for helping with the synovial fluid of the joints. So it's our cushioning in our joints. So often as we get into menopause, our joints can creak a bit more, we can have a bit more pain. And this is all also related with inflammation. That drop in estrogen increases inflammation, which can manifest in many ways. A hot flush is where our body is feeling a bit inflamed at that moment, but also inflammation can really show through our skin, whether it's redness, whether it's a flare-up of the rosacea, the psoriasis, eczema, all sorts of things. So in terms of the collagen, I've actually got a wonderful offer that we've put together with this fantastic company called Corexico, who are wild caught fish. So it's marine collagen is especially helpful for helping with the skin structure for the hair, skin, and nails. And this is, for example, this one is type 1. They also do other products with type 4. So there are 4 different types of collagen in general, overall. And the type 4 is more to do with gut healing, people with leaky guts, intestinal issues, I would say, focus more on the bovine collagen, but the marine collagen is especially good for hair, skin, and nails. And I have to say, since I've been using this, my ponytail is a lot thicker. But I have been using marine collagen, other brands generally, for I don't know, about 18 months now. So I notice a big difference when I take them in terms of my skin and my nails generally. But the collagen is very helpful. One of the ladies asked in the questions, does it help to take hyaluronic acid supplements? She asked Dr. Catherine, and I want to share with you a little story about what I discovered. It must have been over 10 years ago. So I was working in Spain at the time, and I was running fitness and food programs where I teamed up with a personal trainer, and every week for 6 weeks, people would come along and they do 45 minutes of nutrition with me and 45 minutes of exercise with the personal trainer. And then one day, personal trainer said to me, she said, Claudia, it's very painful. I've been diagnosed with the dry shoulder joint and I don't know what to do. So I said, let me do some research on this, because there's not an obvious nutrition solution yet. Let me find out. And I came back to her, I said, well, there's a really interesting study about hyaluronic acid and how it helps increase synovial fluids. And, maybe we could try that as a supplement. So she went away and she got her hyaluronic acid. And she came back about 3 weeks later. She said, Claudia, it's so weird. My face looks different. And it was extraordinary. And because we were running this fitness and food program, we asked, does anyone want to do a trial with us? So in the end, it was about, I can't remember, it was about 20 people in the end. We all went to a skin lab and we got our skin analyzed. And then we took hyaluronic acid supplements for 3 weeks. And then we went back and got our skin analyzed again. So it was our own little trial, if you like. And I must say that it was 80% of the people increased the moisture in their skin. So from inside out, because remember, a lot of these supplements creams, we can put them on the outside, but they can also be helpful from the inside out as well. And I would say out of the people who it didn't work for were the people with conditions like, for example, rheumatoid arthritis, where we were suspecting there was leaky gut and possible gut assimilation issues anyway. So it's a general point here with any supplement that you might be taking. The first thing you want to make sure that your gut is in optimal health to be trying to assimilate so you can assimilate the good nutrients. And sometimes it comes back. I'm a nutritionist, I would say this, but it comes back to gut health. So it's always a horse's course is what's right for you as an individual. Now, in terms of that drop in estrogen and the imbalance of the hormones, one lady asked about skin tags I saw, and skin tags can often come about with hormonal disruption. So, for example, they're very common in conditions like PCOS, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is the hormones can be out of balance there. There can be, and also during perimenopause and menopause. And this is because even though there's a big drop in estrogen, sometimes there's an even bigger drop in progesterone. So the body may still be what's considered estrogen dominant, even though it's still lower than it was. So the key to helping with the skin tags from a nutritional point of view is to help balance out the hormones. And the best way to balance the hormones is to reduce. That is the number one tip. The nutritionist, what number one tip for helping balance and even out the hormones, we need to cut down on the sugar. And I've got another little story to share with you about that. I used to work at retreats before COVID, beautiful residential retreats in converted monasteries, and then over in the Pyrenees and all sorts of places. They were beautiful holidays, and people spent a lot of money to come along and to eat really supremely healthy food, no wheat, no dairy, no alcohol, no sugar. And they'd be having massages and personal training and in the laps of luxury. And they'd come along and they'd say, oh, Claudia, my night sweats or my hot flushes are really bad. And by the end of the week, they'd be saying, gosh, actually, there's a really big difference. I've been sleeping through the night. I haven't had so many hot flushes. you know, it was a remarkable difference. And then on the last night, the company would often give everyone a glass of cava to celebrate the week, to celebrate the success. And blow me down, and that night, so many people, the hot flushes would be back, the night sweats would be back, and they go, oh, now I understand, Claudia, what you were saying about the sugar. But the sugar can absolutely trigger inflammation in the body, which of course is the underlying with conditions like rosacea, eczema, any kind of redness, irritation. We want to be calming the system down. And the drop of estrogen can actually have a tremendous impact on conditions like rosacea. And many women find that the rosacea gets a lot worse during the menopause. And one of the things that we can help with this estrogen clearance is cruciferous vegetables. So we're cutting down the sugar, and we're going to be having more cruciferous vegetables like cauliflower, broccoli, kale, cabbage, all of those delicious vegetables. Brussels sprouts. I had my first Brussels sprouts this season, this week. They're in the supermarkets already, and they really help support the liver processing the hormones that it's trying to get out, help clear them from the body efficiently and effectively. Another thing that Dr. Catherine spoke about that I found really interesting was she talked about the microbiome of the skin. So we're often talking about the microbiome of the gut, all that bacterial balance, all the colonies of great bacteria that are doing so much. We're learning, it's such an amazing field of research at the moment. We're learning how influential these microbes are within our bodies, for our brain, for our health overall, all sorts of conditions. And of course, we've got our microbiomes also in our mouth. Our mouth is a very, very prominent microbiome, and our skins. And now there's so much more research about the microbiome of the skin that you can even get probiotic supplements to help support the skin. There's supplements out there, for example, Dermadophilus is one of them, which is a specific bacteria to support the skin health. So do you remember she talked about the microbiome specifically in terms of dermatitis, eczema, where it looked like that with the bricks, the scales, where the scales were there. What else did I want to mention that she said about was the antioxidants, the resveratrol in the morning. I found that really, really interesting. So resveratrol is a very, very famous and anti-aging or healthy aging supplement that's been used a lot in terms of cognitive health. So it seems to be a win-win for me if it can also support the skin. I didn't know about that. So it's really, really interesting. Let's just have a quick look at your questions here. Oh, Emma, thank you. Lynn, what can vegetarians take? Yes, so there are some vegetarian forms of hyaluronic acid, and there are also emerging some vegetarian collagen powders. But the studies, you see, we always want to go back to the studies, and I haven't seen any studies yet of the vegetarian collagen powders. There is something as well, you know, collagen isn't necessarily for everyone, because for some people it can disrupt their gut. So it's, you know, it's always about finding what's best for you. If you want to go back to the very basics, you can make your bone broth, your chicken stock at home, and even your vegetable stock can be very, very nourishing. To make a really enhanced, turbocharged vegetarian stock, I would definitely be adding kombu seaweed into it to really help support that, to enhance the mineral content. But it's harder for vegetarians to access these some of these nutrients, for sure. So Stephanie, I have rheumatoid arthritis, so would type 4 collagen be better for me? Yes. So with rheumatoid arthritis, Stephanie, rheumatoid arthritis, I'm sure you know, it's an autoimmune condition. And so often primarily in the joints of the hands here. And like I said, I've never worked with someone with rheumatoid arthritis so far who does not have a leaky gut, who does not have this intestinal dysbiosis, where I don't know whether to, I don't know whether I've got time to explain it, but basically we've got in our guts, we've got these beautiful villi and microvilli, which are, sorry, I cut my finger just before coming on here. But anyway, these villi and microvilli in our small intestines, and in the villi and microvilli on top here, we've got all the colonies of good bacteria. We've got lots of immune components, and we've got digestive enzymes. And then here, between the villi and microvilli, we've got tight junctions. And sometimes these tight junctions can become broken. And when they do, food particles that are arriving here to be broken down by the digestive enzymes travel through this way. It doesn't happen. What happens is that food particles goes directly into the bloodstream through that open tight junction where it shouldn't be going. And the immune system reacts to it. And it creates a stress reaction. It triggers an immune reaction, a heightened immune reaction. And that it is one of the leading theories of autoimmune conditions, not just rheumatoid arthritis. Rheumatoid arthritis has a strong genetic component, but other autoimmune conditions, like, for example, Hashimoto's, psoriasis as well, has a strong genetic component. And psoriasis as well, because it's autoimmune, we always want to start by looking at the gut function, and looking for underlying food intolerances that can be irritating the gut. So dairy is so classically considered an inflammatory for the skin. And there's a really easy way to find out if this is relevant to you, which is to avoid dairy for 10 days completely. Notice what you notice with your eczema, dermatitis, psoriasis. Just notice what you notice when you're not having it. And then on day 11, have some dairy. And again, notice what you notice. Is there a flare-up? And you can use this same process with rheumatoid arthritis, where you can be avoiding the nightshade family, which are the potatoes, aubergines, peppers, and tomatoes. Potatoes, aubergines, peppers, and tomatoes. You avoid them all for 10 days, and then you bring one in at a time slowly. So day 11, day 16, day 21, for example, and just again notice what you notice. All right, so I know you've been telling us about marine collagen for ages. Finally bought some yesterday from Holland & Barrett. It was on offer. I read online that you need to take vitamin C with it. Is that right? If so, how much would you advise? So vitamin C is crucial in the body for the formation of collagen. It's really super helpful. And I remember that by thinking CC, collagen, vitamin C. Yeah, many collagen supplements contain vitamin C. Some of them also contain hyaluronic acid and vitamin C. Yes, so it's a good idea to take vitamin C with it if you wanted to. As you know, my most favorite form of vitamin C is liposomal vitamin C. So it's too much of the standard vitamin C, like I'm going to call it standard vitamin C, like Redoxon, for example, can have a negative impact on the kidneys. And it's not great to have too much regular vitamin C. And with liposomal vitamin C, you can have much less of it. And it's a completely different delivery mechanism. It goes directly into the cells. So it's good to know for winter months coming ahead. So you can stock up on that. I don't know, Sue, that you would need to necessarily have it every day. Christine, can we get resveratrol from a little red wine? I don't know, Christine, how much resveratrol is in that glass of wine. I think if you're going to have it, concentrate it with the supplement. Deirdre, I love it. Hopefully. Amanda, I've cut out 100% sugar. Wow. And UPF, so ultra processed foods. And I've lost 1 stone in 2 weeks. Well done, Amanda. That's brilliant. But even better, IBS is gone. feels so much better in every way. Menopause symptoms gone. What a result. That's amazing. Fantastic. Lynn, thanks. I'll eat even more veg. Brilliant. So Martha, so with rheumatoid arthritis, collagen is not good. It can be, Martha. I just don't want you to have expensive urine. I only want you to take things that you're going to be able to assimilate. That's the idea. That's the thinking behind it. So if someone's got rheumatoid arthritis and we've been able to work on their gut health and then they take collagen, that should be fine. Christine, what can I do to support the gut as I have ulcerative colitis? Okay, that's Christine, that's a little bit more complicated, and I don't know if it's Lee, how we're doing, if it's slightly beyond the scope, but generally we want to be reducing inflammation and also looking at things from an autoimmune perspective. It can be difficult to manage the condition, but actually the bone broths and the chicken stocks are generally very, very healing.
Wonderful, Claudia.
So
wonderful. Just as any others left, Emma's just saying, can you tell us the website to get the marine collagen you showed? Yes, Emma, it's in the chat. Ben will put it in the chat again now. Claudia, the marine collagen by Corexico, does that, what's the ingredients of that? Does that have some of the vitamin C or hyaluronic acid or anything that you...
No, this one doesn't. This is literally hydrolyzed marine collagen peptides. So this is wild caught deep sea fish, because collagen's such a big thing now. There's so many like gimmicky fake,
like gummies or gin
products. Yes, that you're not, that's not authentic. And this is absolutely a very genuine product, very, very natural. And also it's how it's been hydrolyzed. So it's it's easy for the body to assimilate it, because that's the thing, collagen isn't always easy to assimilate.
Okay, because I remember you did an article in our magazine and you were saying the only proven collagen is the powder, not gummies, none of the other things we see out in the market. Yeah, that's the one that you can assimilate most, is the powder. Okay, really good.
It is. And then all the studies you see, Lee, they say with the collagen to drink it with water first thing in the morning on an empty stomach. And while a lot of the adverts for different companies, they're drinking it with their coffees and they're mixing it in their milkshakes and everything else, I'm just like, I'm not 100% convinced. I think better to do it how the studies have proven it's effective.
Yes. And so the difference between taking something like a powder collagen and then making your own bone broth, what would be the difference in the benefits or the quantities you could absorb?
Well, this is much more highly concentrated.
Okay.
This is hydrolyzed, so they've extracted it. But the bone broth, for example, is going to have more than collagen. It's also going to have glucosamine and chondroitin, which people spend a fortune on.
Oh, is it? So what will, and that's for the, tell me just very briefly about those two ingredients you mentioned.
For the joints.
Yeah.
So my dad was a sculptor and he wasn't able, his hands were becoming too painful. So I bought him some glucosamine and chondroitin supplements, and he was able to sculpt again. So so it really, really does make an impact, but you can make it in your kitchen.
Yes.
Food first.
Food first. Exactly. Someone just saying, love your enthusiasm and knowledge. Yes, our Claudia is one of our most popular classes on Goldster, isn't it? It's yes, you're an absolute hive of information. So really wonderful.